I was thinking on what to do today, a topic, and I was reflecting on a couple of things. One is question. One time we discussed about from Neeraj Prabhu. He asked a question about the Vedas, and another question was by Atulananda Prabhu um, about chanting and etc. How what in case if someone is not able to chant due to some health issues, you're not able to continue chanting, whatever, loudly chant, what happens? So these are the two things in my mind. Um, since Atulananda Prabhu was not here, he's at the temple, we can do his question. I already answered the questions, but I want to elaborate on the topic, that's all. Some other time, but I'm going to go back to the Vedas topic um, to understand more about the uniqueness and speciality of Vedas. Hope that's fine. I made some points of how Vedas stands beyond any other scriptures that we have in the world. There are certain points that can be noted, which is can't find that in any other scriptures. So that's what I'm going to focus now. And it is also said by Krishna himself that Shruti Smriti Mamai Vagya Yetham Ullangya Vartate. Agya Cheti Mamadrohi Mama Bhaktopi Na Vaishnava. Vaishnava. That means one may be a Vaishnava, one may be doing certain things as a Vaishnava, wearing tilak, kantimala, chanting, everything, but is going against the teachings of Shruti and Smriti. Even though if they are Vaishnava, Krishna says they are my drogis. Drogi, you all understand what drogi means, right? Um, Betrayal. Um, so therefore, we have to be very careful in our practice of Krishna consciousness that we don't do anything different than what has been told in the Shastra. We don't need to invent something differently. What has already been prescribed by the acharyas. Then it confuses, it's not good, and also we are going to displease Krishna. Therefore, the point here is how do we know what we are doing is right or wrong? So I'm coming and telling in this call that you have to do this chanting every day, 16 rounds, and we have been reading in the books, right? And follow certain things, etc., etc. Well, how do you know we have to do this one? Someone said that asked the question, why 16 rounds, right? Why so and so? So we base our thing based on what whom we trust upon, and we if we trust someone, then we follow what the person says. If you like someone, you love someone, sometimes you do things blindly. That is all very good. But then what if I may trust one of the person, right? Say Amohanam Prabhu might say something, and I may trust him because I love him, I like him. But then not necessary someone who doesn't know him will start accepting whatever it is he says, because there is no relationship, there's no connection. So therefore, not everyone is going to love and accept what he says. Only those people who have some connection and faith, and they will like to hear from him. Correct? Now the world is of different um, liking and have their faith in different things, and they have different ways of what they trust. Even if you take from the Indian perspective, even within India, even within the Sanatana Dharma, you see one person says the God doesn't have form, the God doesn't have name, God doesn't have qualities, he is nothing, right? Pretty much he's not a male, he's not a female, it is none of those things. Whereas another person says, no, God is has a form, he has a name, he has a quality. And whereas another person says something different. You can see so many different things, right? in technical terms, you may call as one as the Advaiti, another one as Dvaiti, and so forth. And also we have Vishishta Advaiti, we have Achintya Bheda, Bheda Tattva, Shuddha Bheda, Bheda Tattva, and so many different things are there, right? When you have different things, there is also Christianity, there is also Islam, there is also Jainism, there is also Buddhism. But we call Jainism as a separate religion. Yes, we call Buddhism as a separate religion. We call Hindu, no, I want to come back to Hinduism a little later. So you see this different, we call them as a different religion. But then when it comes to Hindu, Advaita philosophy, Vishishta Advaitam, Dvaitam, Chinta Bheda, Bheda Tattva, Shuddha Bheda, and so many different schools of thought, we put everything into one rather than calling them separately as a religion. Yes or no? Why? Because we differ from teachings of Christianity. We differ from Islam. We differ from Jainism. We means now I'm just narrowing down to our schools of thought of Krishna consciousness for us to understand. We differ from Advaita philosophy. We differ from Dvaita philosophy. Are we not our own religion? Can the followers of Shankara say that they are a separate religion? They are not Hindu. Maybe they call themselves a Hindu. They can be a separate religion. And Madhvacharya's followers can say they are separate religion. But when it comes to these schools of thought, Advaita, Dvaita, and so forth, they don't call themselves, or we don't call ourselves as a separate religion like Christianity or Islam. Yes, you all agree? So how can then you say when there's so much of difference between these different schools of thought within the Hindu realm, then how do you call yourself as one religion? Answer. How can we say, you can put your answer in a chat room also if you like to. How can we say that we are all one religion? What makes it all as one religion called Sanatana Dharma, right? Even Shankara says he's Sanatana Dharma. Madhva says, Chaitanya says, Vallabhacharya says, so many great Acharya, they all say we are all fall into Sanatana Dharma when we have so much of difference of ideas and opinions and what is the goal. Even in that there are differences. So what makes us all connected together, right? Makes it all connected together. All have accepted Narayana as Supreme Lord. That's a wonderful answer. Any other answer?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Because we believe most of the Hindus like this religion based upon the Vedas. Like we believe in the Vedic tradition. So maybe that's a reason because there are scriptures which are mentioned, and all the religions like they are based upon the Vedic.
Wonderful. Very nice. So that's the answer. Of course, Amonam Prabhu answer is correct. But then when we go deep into that, but there are Shaktas, Shaivas, Saurya, and then Ganapatiyas, different agamas they also say their religion. They don't believe Narayana as a supreme lord, right? Therefore, you have to include that also. When you include that, then what is that which says that everyone follows the Sanatana Dharma? We are one religion. We are one religion, right? What is that? Adhāram. Adhāram is a base as a foundation of all these different schools of thought. They all refer back to one scripture. Because I may love Bhagavatam, but if you go to the worshipper of Devi, they may not like Srimad Bhagavatam. They say Devi Bhagavatam. They have a Devi Bhagavatam, right? If you, someone may say, no, Shiva Puran. Shiva Puran is greater, right? There's different schools. Skanda Puran, which speaks about Lord Kartikeya. He is great. Therefore, but then even though they have different favorite Ishta Devata, but everyone comes together in one umbrella called Sanatana Dharma because we have to know what the Sanatana Dharma is. Sanatanam means eternally existing teachings. Teaching. Dharma means, of course, Dharma has in this, let's focus on in this context. Right? In this context, Dharma is education. An eternal education that which provides the eternal education speaks about eternity. Okay? It's not, doesn't speak, it of course speaks about the temporary things also, but mainly focuses on the eternal things. What are those eternal subject matter topics? Atma, Paramatma, Prakriti, all those different things, right? As we, the Kala, all these are eternal. Prakriti is also, by the way, it just goes and comes, changes, but it is also eternal, right? If we're still not clear with that one, then we have to go back to Bhagavad Gita and read the basics. Prabhupada very clearly says in the introduction also, there are five topics, right? Let me make it little interactive if you don't mind. What are the five topics? Please post it or unmute and say. Please post it or unmute it. What are the five topics? Quick.
Prakriti, Purusha, Parameshwara, time, and there's one more missing.
What are the
Karma.
Karma.
very,
Yes, karma. Yes.
very good karma? These five things are there, a topic of eternal. Thank you, Prabhu. Five things. Out of this, what is not eternal is the last one that you all said, karma. It cannot be eternal. Otherwise, there's no point in we all discussing here Bhagavad Gita, practicing anything, trying to become a human or better devotee. None of those is going to happen because it's karma. Karma is going to try. If karma is not eternal, therefore we are practicing. Okay? Good thing, good news. Now, the point here, where every all the different religion schools of thought believes in these five things. Everyone will under the Sanatana. So these topics are discussed, right? That which gives us a knowledge of this topic is Sanatana Dharma. It speaks about Atma, Jivatma, Paramatma, Kala, Prakriti, and then Karma. See the beautiful thing of how the Sanatana Dharma is all about. Now the question is, okay, now where does information comes from? That everyone is basing their faith in common. When it comes to, even though there are difference of opinion in schools by the schools of thought, when it comes to some external force uh, affecting or impacting the Hindu religion, we all become one. Yes. It doesn't matter whether you're following Krishna consciousness, whether you're following, this sampradaya, that sampradaya, we all become one. What does that makes us all one? Because we all have our base or our Adhāra foundation on Vedas. Please make a note of this one. I'm going to tell some point. The first point is Adhāram. What is the Adhāram for the Sanatana Dharma that brings us brings every different schools of thought into one religion as Sanatana Dharma? It's Vedas. Vedas are not the base, then we can very well call ourselves as different religion, right? There's Christianity, Islam, and Jainism and Buddhism. They do not follow the Vedas. Charvaka, they do not follow the Vedas. If they also follow the Vedas, guess what? They also come under the umbrella of Sanatana Dharma, even though they may have a difference of thoughts and principles. But if they keep Vedas as the base, then they also fall into Sanatana Dharma, this Hindu religion. But they do not accept the Vedas. Whatever the religion that I just mentioned, they do not accept the Veda. Therefore, they are separate religion. Because we accepted Vedas as one, it's our base. Therefore, we are all Sanatanis, followers of Sanatana. First point makes clear? Everyone? Okay, good. Now, let's move on to the second point. Svataḥ Pramāṇam. First one is Adhāram. Second, Svataḥ Pramāṇam. Svataḥ Pramāṇam means this is the only point I think I addressed during that question session. There are a lot more, but this is important for us to know. If you see the purports of Srila Prabhupada, or if you take any commentary by any acharyas, right, of any literature, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puranam, you take any of the different things. We take that as authority. Yes? Right. Now, what is the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puranam, Ramayanam, and Mahabharata? What is the Adhāram? There should be something as the foundation or a reference to these scriptures that we have. right? We have to have something to justify or put a stamp saying that yes, what Bhagavad Gita says is true. What Ramayana says is true. Someone has to certify that. Of course, our gurus and acharyas can say, but they themselves cannot say that I certify Ramayana, I certify Mahabharata. They cannot say that, unfortunately. Correct? Right? Please don't get offended by me saying the statement. This is truth. You all can understand, be practical here. Because why? There's something more than that. Because if they are saying, I certify Bhagavad Gita, on what basis are they going to tell read Bhagavad Gita? Just because it's a favorite book of them? No. Because there should the because Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all the Puranas, everything are basing their message on the authority of Vedas. Vedas. Is that clear? They cannot speak anything different. What has been told in the Vedas. Therefore, if uh, for example, I'll just tell one simple example, then you can understand. In Ramayana, Ramayana is identical to Vedas. So when Ramayana, Vishwamitra comes and he says that I want to take your son. Please send me your son. Right? We all know this one. He says, I want to take your son. And then Dasaratha says, no, how can I do this one? I cannot send my son. And then he says, you don't know your son. He says this one particular sloka, Aham Vedmi, what is it? Aham Vedmi Ramam Satya Parakram. He says that I know Rama, you don't know Rama, right? You might have heard this from me quite a few times. Aham Vedmi Ramam Satya Parakram. I know who Rama is, you don't know. And then you go to the Vedas. Vedaham Vedam Purusham Mahantam. Vedaham Vedam Purusham Mahantam. Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. So Veda also say the same thing over there. I know who the Purushottama is, who the Lord is. Right? You can take the Ramayana slokas, some of the slokas, and you can match exactly with the slokas of the Vedas, Upanishads, right? Therefore, that's the important thing to know. That therefore, when the Vedas says certain things, Veda says, Kalanjam na bhakshaye. Veda says, Kalanjam na bhakshaye. Kalanjam na bhakshaye means should not eat onion. You should not eat garlic. Now, to satisfy people, we can come and give scientific evidence and many things to say why onion should not be eaten, why garlic should not be consumed. But the reality is, Veda says not to do this one. That's it. There's no need for us to go find, is there a Pramāṇam for the Vedas to say so? Pramāṇam of Ramayana is Vedas. Pramāṇam of Mahabharata is Vedas. Pramāṇam of all the Puranas is Vedas. But what is the Pramāṇam of Vedas? What's the answer? Svataḥ Pramāṇam. Svataḥ Pramāṇam is independent authority. It's an independent authority. When, for example, you go to in India or any other places, there's a conflict between parties. They go file a case in the panchayat. Panchayat, the village, right? They cannot do this one. They take it to the town court and they go to magistrate. If that doesn't work, they go to the high court in the city. If that doesn't work, they go to the Supreme Court, right? When they go to the Supreme Court and the final authority is the Supreme Court, the judge says that this is what it is, finalized. And you can't go beyond that point. Correct? Likewise, when it comes to the Vedas, one cannot say that what is the authority of Vedas to say so. It's independent. Now, how do I understand this one? It's very easy. We cannot experience and we can't experience and we cannot see everything to come to a level of faith on something. That doesn't happen. If you are telling that I want to see that to believe it, then we have to wait. We may not have. For example, how many of us have seen heaven? How many of us have seen hell? Forget about hell and heaven. How many of you, how many of us know that people have gone to attain moksha or gone to the Goloka or Vaikunta? How many of us have seen? Have they sent us a text message? Yeah, I've reached Vaikunta. See you later. Or they putting their daily activities in the Facebook. Today I was with Indra. We had a herbal tea together. Here is a picture, standing, taking a selfie. We are no, none of those things is possible. But Veda says heaven exists, hell exists, karma exists, moksha exists. All this is exists, and we have to have faith in the Vedas. Yes, that's what it is. So we cannot question and ask that what is the proof of these things exist. It's not everything is possible in life to be proven. And if everything can be proven, then it becomes a material science. It doesn't become a spiritual science. In material science, you got to prove everything to be by your senses. The senses have to experience those things to prove on certain things. If I don't see something, that doesn't exist. But in the spiritual terms, we have to, that Veda says God exists, Jivatma exists, right? The spiritual world exists. If this is all happening because of show me the karma. Come on. You can't show the karma, right? But these things can be experienced over the period of the time by the spiritual practices. That's all. And Vedas have also teaches us how to spiritually practice to understand the existence of that things which we cannot experience in this world can be experienced even staying in this world. There are ways that Vedas are also teaching us. We have to we have to start practicing those things. So the first one is Adhāram, the foundation. Second one is Svataḥ, it means the independent authority. It doesn't have another authority. We cannot go and cross-check Vedas with another Upanishads, another Itihasas or Puranas. We cannot cross-check. It's the other way around. Let's be very clear on that one. Okay. Number two, move on to the third one. Now the question is, this is closely related to Neeraj's topic on the other day. The question is, who wrote this Vedas? Okay, now the question, let's start with a simple question. Who wrote Ramayana, Adi Kavyam? There are many, many authors written Ramayana. The Adi Kavyam of the first Ramayana. Who wrote Ramayana? We all know the answer. Veda Vyasa, correct? Yes? No. Valmiki. I just want to make sure you're all paying attention here. Okay, Ramayana is written by Veda Vyasa. Okay, who wrote Mahabharata? B.R. Chopra.
Vedas.
Okay, very good. Veda Vyasa. I was going to think that you're going to tell about the TV serial who wrote the Mahabharata and Ramayana. Anyway, now, so we know that who wrote this one. Now, to have a trust on something, we need to know who gave that book to us, right? We need to know who gave the book, author of this book. For example, recently, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu visited St. Louis. He gave some books. The book has, the name, his name is right there. Like that, many people have written many, many books. But now, one book does not have the name on it. Guess one book which does not have an author. Which book that could be? All the scriptures. That is Vedas. Vedas does not have an author. Please understand, Vedas does not have an author. It is not written down by someone on one fine day. He called it as Vedas and named it as Rig Veda, Sama, Yajur, Atharvana, and so forth. Right? Not a person who wrote. Therefore, Vedas are called technically Apurushaya. Apurushaya. The third one is Apurushaya. Puranam, Itihasam, and Kavyams, and then many of these things are composed by an author. Composed by an author. Whereas Vedas are not. Vedas are not. So this is another very important thing. what is the advantage of not being written? We are going to see a little later. But the third point is Apurushaya. Apurusham is not written by anyone. Well, how is that possible? It's not been written by someone. Just wait. We have some more points to go through, but it's not written by anyone. That's number 3. Adhāram, Svataḥ Pramāṇam, Apurushaya. The fourth point is Anadi. Anadi means it's okay, it's not written by anyone, but can you please tell me, Prabhuji, it started coming into existence in 1842 or in BC or AD or in Treta, before this Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga or Treta Yuga or Satya Yuga? Can you tell me the starting point of when this Veda came into existence? That's the fourth point. What is that? Is Anadi. Anadi. It doesn't have a start point. It's not created. It doesn't have a start point. It's been existing for a long period. Well, one may say that one, but there is something called pralaya, right? Pralaya means what? Destruction. When destruction comes, Mahapralaya happens. Prakrita pralaya, Mahapralaya happens. What happens to Brahma? He shifts to some other place. What happens to our Brahma? Mahapralaya, that means 100 years of Brahma is done. When 100 years of Brahma is done, what will happen to Brahma? He exists still somewhere, he migrates to some other place, or he dies, or he takes birth. What happens? Huh? Sorry, someone
He
said.
goes in,
He goes to a different role, Prabhu.
He goes into a different role. He goes to different role. Okay. Anything else?
he goes to the Mahatattva.
Goes to Mahat. Okay. Okay, fine. So these are all good, actually nice answer, perfect answer. So what I'm trying to say is Brahma is also finished. Right? Brahma, who is a creator, secondary creator, is a creator. He himself was finished. So what about the Vedas? You have to have the book. For example, the book that we received, some of you bought from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. When the world is finished, Mahapralaya happens. Does this book exist? Is that book going to be existing? It's not going to be existing. It's been finished. So what about Vedas? Well, Vedas exists or doesn't exist? It is Nityam. That is the fifth point. It is Nityam. It is Anadi, meaning it doesn't have a starting point. It doesn't have a starting point. And it exists all the time. It doesn't have a starting point. It exists all the time. I can understand this. If we have when it comes to book, if it is a book, yes, it destroyed. But then Vedas is not even in the book. But how can it be eternal, and also how can it be existing forever? How is that? That means it has to be stored somewhere, right? Maybe it's not in the local, maybe it's stored in the iCloud, somewhere in the some Azure platform or something. Those who doesn't know this technology thing, forgive me. So anyway, it's in the cloud somewhere, right? Where it didn't get, there's a lot of backups has been done everywhere, and even the data center of Brahma is collapsed, and there is a backup in some other country or some other planet, so we can bring it back. Well, Mahapralaya means everything is finished. Everything is finished, including the Panchabhuta. Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's also finished. It also go to its original place. Then where is the point of Vedas being stored? Any thoughts? Any thoughts on this question? What happens? How do the Vedas be indestructible? Nitya, Anadi and Nityam. Fourth and fifth point. Where it has to be saved somewhere, stored somewhere, where it exists after the Pralaya.
It will go to the Mahavishnu's body, tummy.
But it is not a book to go into it. Answer is correct, partially correct. But I have a chanting bag. I put it in my pocket. It goes inside. Correct?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
But Vedas is not a material where it goes inside. Jivatma goes inside, by the way. Jivatma goes into the body of Vishnu. The Prakriti all goes into him. But Vedas is not something tangible. It's not something you can feel it, touch and feel it. Of course, Jivatma is not, cannot be also, but you understand what I'm trying to say here, right? So what about the Vedas? How can it, what is then? Where it gets saved?
Maybe
In the
Mahavishnu's mind, it's mantra rupa.
Heart or
Fantastic.
or in the heart.
In the heart of
Yes, very good, very good. It's mantra rupa, is in the heart of the Lord. That means it. That is why it is called, Vedas are called what? What Pramāṇam of three Pramāṇams? There is a Pratyaksha Pramāṇam. Second one is
Shabda. Shabda Brahma.
exactly. Thank you. Anuman Pramāṇam. Third one is Shabda Pramāṇam. Shabda Pramāṇam is mantra rupam. It's a sound vibration. It is not physically on a printed paper or written in a leaf. It's mantra rupam, meaning it's chanted. Right? Therefore, that goes into the, it isn't, it's not it goes into, it's always existing in the heart of the Lord. It's always existing in the heart of the Lord. The Vedas are nothing but the Lord's sankalpam. Sankalp, will, is being will. So, Adhāram, number one. Number Svataḥ Pramāṇam, number two. Apurushaim, number three. Anadi, number four. Nityam, number five. Are you all with me so far? And when we say Nityam, what it means is indestructible, means it comes exactly how it was. It's not like a different version. It comes exactly the way it was before Pralaya. It comes into the same way again into next creation, Srishti, without any differences. That means what means the Shabda, that way it's being chanted, does not differ even a bit in a meter. Vedaham Vedam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasak Parastat. And this is the way that's been chanted in the before the Pralaya. It will be chanted again in the future. Sahasradhirisha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhomim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishta Tasangulam Purusha Evedagum Sarvam Yed Bhutam Yed Chabhavyam. Like that, the sound will never change. Because we have come to America, we have come to Canada, it doesn't become with a background music and rock and it started chanting in a different style. The sound vibration never changes, meaning the meter, the way it's being chanted never changes. Therefore, it is called Nityam. For example, you have a person, there's a fight between two persons, and one person is shooting an arrow, and that person, arrow pierces him, he falls off, he dies. Right? How do we know this person is dead? If he gets up, is again coming back. If he's not coming back, he's not getting up, he's not coming back with the same body, that means he's dead. But he's coming up even after shooting 10 bullets, 20 bullets, he's coming with the same body again. Do you say that he is a different person? I'm coming up with some examples, just like that. So hope it makes sense. A person is said to be dead, but then you're going to Schnucks, you're going to Costco, you see the same person over there. Do you consider that person as a different person or the same person? Same person. We consider same person, right? Vedas are the same way. Even though different hundreds and thousands of millions of unlimited pralaya happened, it comes again the same way. That means it is not different. It is nityam. It is nityam. So what is it? Adhāram, Svataḥ Pramāṇam, Apurvishayam 3, 4 Anadi, 5 Nityam, and the 6th we are going to go is this one, the scripture, the only scripture that we can fully trust. Again, please understand this particular statement. Because why? Every other scriptures that we study and we have is all based on this one particular scripture as Adhāram, which is not written by anyone. It is Apurashaya. It is the Sankalpa of the Lord. Whereas every other literature that you can see in the world outside of Vedas, guess what? Can we call them as Apurashaya? No, we cannot. Therefore, any other scriptures that we have, they are all written by someone. Someone, of course, not to minimize the personal, great personality like Valmiki, Vyasa, and Parasara, and so forth. It's not to minimize them, but it is in one sense, it is not Apurashaya. It is written by human. Correct? I want you to open your mind and heart to accept this particular thing. Otherwise, if you're very much in a closed mindset, then you won't appreciate this particular point. Then we become into argumental say how you can say that what Valmiki, Veda Vyas done and Sutadev Goswami spoke to Bhagavatam to, please come to a little higher standard to understand this particular thing. We respect all the great acharyas, there's no question about it. But when you compare Vedas with different scriptures, Vedas are Apurushayam, these are not. What happens when these are not Apurushaya is that there is definitely going to be an influence of that particular author's intention into that book. I'm repeating this. If I want to convey a message, then I have some idea, then I want to emphasize that particular idea into that book to favor certain group of people. Therefore, 18 Puranas we have. 18 Puranas, all the 18 Puranas are source, we can say Veda Vyasa, we can say it came from Brahma, right? But you can see these 18 Puranas are again grouped into Sattvika Purana, Rajasa Purana, Tamasa Purana. You see that these things are differences are there because there are different. It's there to cater different types of people. Therefore, in some Purana it may say this particular Indra is the supreme lord. In some Purana it may say that Shiva is the supreme lord. In some Purana it may say Narayana, Krishna is the supreme lord. You can see the differences over there in these things, right? Therefore, why? This scriptures, some people may trust Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, some people may not trust Srimad Bhagavatam. But everyone will trust one literature, one scripture, that is Vedas. That credit only goes to Vedas. The entire population of Sanatana Dharma will accept Vedas. Even if they accept Vedas, they may have differences, but they will accept Vedas. But not necessary. One school of thought will accept your literature. Will not accept your literature. Say, for example, if you go to, if you take Chaitanya Charitamrita and go to Karnataka, Udupi, or Madhva school of thought and speak about Chaitanya Charitamrita, what's going to happen? Will they accept it? Or you take some other, as I said earlier, you take Srimad Bhagavatam and go to the Ganapatyas who are worshipper of Ganesha. Are they going to accept Srimad Bhagavatam? But you take Vedas and go to Ganapatyas, go to the Swami Narayan temple or this temple or that temple, they're going to happily accept it. Right? So this is the sixth point. Sixth point is only scripture that can be fully trusted by anyone because it speaks the truth without any intention to cater a certain group of people. Its intention is very clear. It's very clear. Okay. Therefore, that is an important thing for us to understand the sixth point. The seventh point is Suti means Vedas. Shruti means Vedas. Okay. Smriti means that which are not Vedas. Everything else, the other scriptures that we have, that are non-Shrutis. But those, Smritis, those Smritis bases their thing on the Shruti, and Shruti is Vedas. You cannot call other scriptures as Shruti. Only Vedas are called as Shruti. Okay? So this is something that has to be understood, because Shruti is learned through hearing process, not through any notes, not through any books. Okay, it is passed through the shabdam, by the sound vibration. One guru teaches to his disciple, and disciples teaches to another one, and so forth. That is how the whole the Shruti has been done, taught. Therefore, Vedas are the Shruti. Nothing else can be called a Shruti. That is number 7. Okay, going on to the 8th one. How many Vedas are there? How much of Vedas do we have? Immediately we will say Vedas are 4, with certain shaka, certain groups of thing within the Vedas, right? So Vedas are 4: Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharvana. And one may also go to the search engine and try to find out what are the contents and how many slokas and etc. Right? But the fact is, Vedas has no limits. Anantavai Vedaha. Shastra, the Vedas itself says Anantavai Vedaha. Means what the Vedas that we have now is only limited. There are more which we don't even know where it is, and we don't even have access to those things. Vedas has no limit. Like how we say Srimad Bhagavatam. So how many verses are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? How many verses are there in Srimad Bhagavatam?
18,000.
18,000 verses. How many verses are there in Srimad Valmiki Ramayana?
24.
24,000. Thank you. How many slokas approximately are there in Mahabharata?
10,000.
125,000 slokas.
120.
Okay, so you can come up with these numbers, but then how many shakas and slokas are there in Vedas? Unlimited. But for our understanding, to make it simple, whatever we can grasp, kind enough, the great sage Vedavyasa has put index, context, and side note, forward note, etc., and made it in such a way we can understand this Vedas with whatever is accessible to us. Vedas is just not that what is unlimited. Vedas are unlimited. For example, this Rig Vedas, he categorized Rig Vedas so that Rig Vedas is nothing but it glorifies the Lord. And the Yajur Vedas is in a prose and poetry which tells how to worship the Lord. The Sama Veda, the same thing like Rig Vedas, mantras, but then it is more in a melodious way. The music is added to the mantras. Then that is Sama Veda. Atharvana Veda, it speaks about how one can be protected by chanting certain mantras during different situations in our life. This is just an outline of few things about these different Vedas here. And then what Vedavyasa kindly did is, he had his 4 disciples. So he engaged his 4 disciples, assigned each and every Veda to propagate them further. Rig Vedas were given to one of the Paila Muni. And then Yajur Vedas, Vaishampayana, Yajur Veda. And he assigned Sama Veda to Jaimini. And then he assigned Atharvana Veda, Sumantu. So these are different sages, disciple of Vedavyasa, who promoted further into those, promoted those Vedas further. They took them further. Right? So that is the 8th point. The 9th point. Vedas is the only literature, from whatever we saw so far, is famous by all means. Whether we read Vedas or not, we always say Veda, Vedas. Vedas are so famous compared to any other literature that we can think about. And all the schools of thought, as I said, the same thing is famous because everyone accepts it. It is famous. And the last point is Vedas covers 5 important topics in full. What are the 5 important topics? What is Paramatma Swarupam? What is the nature of the Paramatma? Paramatma means the Lord, right? What is the nature of the Lord? How he is, what he is, where he is, what is he doing? Right? All those details about Paramatma. Does he have body? Does he doesn't have a body? Right? All those details are there. Second point it covers is Jivatma Swarupam. Jivatma, what is the nature of Jivatma? It is made of earth, water, fire, or ether, or what is it made of? When it came into existence, how long it will stay? Right? All those details about Jivatma is there in the Vedas. You may tell that, well, this also in Bhagavad Gita, it is also in this book and that book. Well, they are all referred to the Vedas. This is the point you should understand, right? It all referring to the Shruti. These are the Smritis refers to the Shruti. Okay. The third point that Vedas covers is Upayam. Upayam means what is the means to attain or connect the Jivatma and Paramatma. What are the means that Jivatma and Paramatma can be connected? That is number 3. Well, I understand Paramatma, I understand Jivatma, I am a Jivatma, I'm not this body. My goal, my thing is I have to perform bhakti. Now I'm not able to perform bhakti because of my purva karma vasanas. Right? There are obstacles. There are many obstacles in my life. So those obstacles are also discussed in the Vedas. That is number 4. Now Paramatma is understood, Jivatma is understood. I need to perform bhakti. That's the only mean by which I can get connected to Bhagavan, Paramatma. But there are obstacles in my life. But by following what the guidelines given, I can remove the obstacle. Now that 4th is done. The Palastuti. Palam means what do I do after attaining Paramatma or Bhagavan? After I go to the spiritual world. That is the goal of the end result of our practices. So Paramatma Swarupam, Jivatma Swarupam, Upayam, and obstacle, Virodhi Swarupam, and then the Phalam, the end result. These are all Artha Panchakam. These are all mentioned in Ramayana. Ramayana also has this thing, but Vedas talks about this in full. Okay, I just want to share this 10 points. How Vedas plays an important role and how it stands as an authority to all the scriptures that we have. Number 1, Adhāram. That is, it's the base. Summarizing this one, it is the base for all the Sanatanis, followers of Sanatana Dharma. Number 2, Svataḥ. It doesn't have an authority to confirm what it says. It is an independent authority. Number 3, Apurishayam. It is not written by a human. It is not written by a human. It is a sankalpa of the Lord. That is 3. Number 4, Anadi. Anadi means it's been, you cannot trace back the starting of the Vedas. It's existing eternally in the heart of the Lord. The Lord exists eternally. The Vedas exist in the Lord's heart. Number 4. Number 5, Nityam, indestructible. It is not destroyed because whenever it comes back after the Srishti, it comes in the same meter, same way. Therefore, it is Nityam. Number 5, that is number 6 is, it's a only scripture which can be trusted in full, completely trusted in full. And number 7, Shruti means Vedas, none other. That name, the title is only given to the Vedas. Now other scriptures can be called as Shruti. Number 7. Number 8, Vedas are not limited, it's unlimited. For our simplicity, we call this, Vedas have this many shakas, Vedas are divided into 4, etc. But Vedas are unlimited. Number 8. Number 9, it's a only scripture which is famous and accepted by everyone. all the Sanatanis. Even if you're not falling into Sanatana Dharma, even the other religion, they all know the Hindu religion, the Sanatana Dharma has Vedas, and therefore they try to destroy the Vedas, which is eternal, anityam, which is nityam, and anadi, which cannot be destroyed. Lastly, Artha Panchakam. Vedas speaks about 5 subject matter in full: Paramatma Swarupam, Jivatma Swarupam, Upaya Swarupam, Virodhi Swarupam, and Palam, the end result. These are spoken in the Vedas. Okay, I like to pause here and open up for any discussions or questions. Hope this was informative to understand where we stand with the Vedas. Right? When you been questioned next time, you know what, how special Vedas are, how important Vedas are, and so can be able to answer some of these questions. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, we can have some discussion for another few minutes.
Prabhu, one small question. You mentioned about Charvaka. Charvaka is also part of Sanatana Dharma, right?
No.
Okay.
You know, how do you define whether a person a follower of Sanatana Dharma or not based on this thing? Two things. One is acceptance of Vedas as authority. Second, acceptance of the Lord. The Lord can be with form or without form, doesn't matter. But there is a Ishvara. The Ishvara, how the Ishvara is a different topic. But accepting Ishvara, accepting, what's the other one I said? Accepting the scriptures. Veda, I mean scripture, not Vedas, right? Not as, I don't want to generalize saying scripture. Accepting Vedas, accepting Ishvara. Now here's the problem. There could be people who does not, there could be religion or the so-called religion, they do not accept both. They do not accept both. Okay. There could be religion who accept one of these things. One may accept the Vedas, but not Ishvara. Sankhya philosophy, for example. Right? So Sankhya also falls under the same orthodox schools of thought. But the thing is that they accepted the Vedas. Right? Even within Sankhya philosophy, there are two schools of thoughts. Where one group of Sankhya, they believe in Ishvara, accepted the Vedas, they believe in Ishvara. Another school of thought, they believe in and they accepted the Vedas, they don't believe in Ishvara. There are even among them, there's a difference. But they fall into this category because one or the other they accepted. Okay, now what was I saying? Whereas Charvaka, coming to the Charvaka philosophy, they do not accept any of these things. How do you understand the Charvaka philosophy? If I'm right, you have to go to Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry, you have to go to the Valmiki Ramayana. In Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodhya Khanda and Sarga 108, I believe. Sarga. As a conversation between Ramachandra and Jabali, one of the advisor of Dasaratha. Jabali and Rama. If you want to understand what Charvaka philosophy, I'll refer to that particular Sarga conversation. Between, he says, do not believe what is this karma, what is the Jivatma, what is punya, what is papa, don't believe what is Ishvara, what is all this thing, don't believe, leave life king size. Who knows about these things? None of us has experienced, none of us have seen this one. Rama, take Ayodhya, enjoy life. Why are you attached to the promises that you made to a dead man who's passed away? Is he going to come and ask you? What is all this nonsense? So that is Charvaka philosophy.
Okay.
Lokayaka, they are also called as Lokayakas. They only concentrate on the life over here of our existence. I born in this year, I'm going to die. This is all my life is. Our soul is done. There's no Ishvara. There is no all this karma and all those things, right? Charvaka.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, if Vedas are sound energy, right, Prabhu? Like, how were they stolen by Haigriva, Prabhu?
Yeah, this is a beautiful question. Even though Vedas are in the sound vibration, that means when Brahma was doing things, the intelligence of Brahma is being stolen because these asuras are so strong, they can subtly enter and do whatever they want. They stole the intelligence of Brahma. For us to understand, it's given in a palm leaf format or book format to show in the picture you see. They come and take it and go and things like that, right? But it is not so. It is not so. His intelligence was taken away during that particular time of period by these asuras. That is how we have to take it.
Prabhu, on this, actually, I heard that during the sleep, Brahma was
Just to be, some of these things may be not able to understand. I'll give you an example, Sujata Mataji, so you can understand. So say Diksha is there and she's having multiple friends, and there are good friends, there are bad friends. Okay? Then some friends may tell, hey, why are you not eating this one? You should eat this one. Come on, take this thing. It doesn't matter. You can have this French fries from McDonald's and etc. etc. At that point of time, she's a beautiful girl, wonderful girl. But then at that point of time, by the influence of someone, her intelligence may be stolen, taken away. Yes, it is not. It is not physical. It's a subtle level. It's been taken away. But these Rakshasa, these Asuras are so powerful, they can instantly steal some of these things. And even in our life, we can see sometimes we accept sometimes we accept good advices, sometimes we don't accept good advices. Right? Advices. It depends on our kala and our time and different factors. We are different personalities. It is not just matter. There are certain personalities which may influence us based on our past karma and based on our time. Certain things they may also influence in our life. Likewise, it happened in Brahma's case. Does it little bit help to make you understand, visualize?
Yes, Prabhu. Like for my understanding, Prabhu, it's like clouding your intelligence,
Yes.
discriminate what is good and what is
Yes.
bad.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Brahma, we should understand Brahma is not fully in Suddha Sattva. Is not made of is not made of transcendental body. Is also made like us. Only thing is Brahma. We are Manusha. That's all. So he also goes through the influence of the modes. When he's in a good mood, then Satvika Purana comes. When he's a passionate mood, Rajasa Purana comes. Right? So we should understand. Yes, Amohanam Prabhu.
Thank you.
I think what I heard that might not be correct. I heard that Vedas were chanted by Brahma even during the sleep. At that time, Hayagriv started capturing those Vedas, and he did not want to share it with humans in general. So that's what I heard. Maybe that is not. I'm not finding any references for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Then you will not use the word as a stolen, right? Stolen means I have this chanting back. It's not with me now. Then it's stolen,
Yeah.
right? I'm not able to. I don't know about that
Yeah,
particular.
even I
That
am not
means
getting that reference.
Brahma still has what he has. It's not stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, you get the point. Okay. Anyone else? Anything? We can talk for 2 more minutes. Just 2 more minutes.
Prabhu, just a small reflection. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Manjira Mataji, do you have any questions? Because one time you and I had a personal conversation about one of this topic when I was there in Srimad Bhagavatam class. I was saying something or something, then you had a question, and we and I had a direct call. And that time I think you were convinced, but I just want to make sure if you're having any questions. You can process and let me know later also. It's not that you have to tell now. Okay.
Yeah, no, Prabhu. It is good. If you could give clarity on the 10th point, like just the 5 parts of it, they were not the same as the 5 parts of Gita. I just wanted to hear that once, Prabhu.
Again, you're justifying what I said as Vedas with Bhagavad Gita. So what I'm trying to say is reverse it. reverse it. There are some things may be in Bhagavad Gita, but not everything in Bhagavad Gita. I'm just telling Bhagavad Gita for example only, by any other scripture for that matter. But everything in full is in their Vedas. So what was been saying is the Paramatma Swarupam, that is who God is. Second was Jivatma, who am I? Number three, what are the obstacles? Number three is number three is Upayam. Upayam means what are the means to connect or attain the Lord. Number three. Number four is obstacle, Virodhi. Virodhi, what are the obstacles that in my life? Karma is one of my obstacles. Definitely, correct? Because of karma, I'm not able to do certain things. We can always put blame on the karma. So karma is number four. And the fifth is, what is the goal of what I'm doing? End result. What I want to really achieve at the end. Whatever we are trying to do, there should be some goal in our life. If we don't have a goal, then there's no point in what we are aimlessly doing whatever we are doing. Right? So these are all well defined and given in the Vedas. That is what that is the last 10 point. And what's your question?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhu, just with because of Manjari Mataji's thought, another question popped up. You said Shruti, only Vedas can be considered as Shruti, rest of them are Smrutis. So why Bhagavad Gita is still considered as Shruti, even though it's direct instruction from the Lord?
Well, it is not Veda. Bhagavad Gita considered to be Mahabharata can be considered as a fifth Veda.
Shruti.
Fifth Veda. But it is not Veda. It's given such an important thing that it's been said as a fifth Veda.
Okay.
That's how we have to take it. But Vedas are Vedas Shruti.
Okay.
Right? For example, similarly, what is it called? Veda Vede Pare Pumse Jatiya Dasaradatmaje Veda Prachada Dasit Sakshat Ramayanat Mana. This particular sloka also the same says, the Supreme Vaikuntha, the Lord of Vaikuntha descended as the son of Dasaratha. The Vedas descended as Ramayana, son of Vatma. Right?
Yeah, correct.
We have to understand what the sloka says, but Vedas are Vedas.
Okay.
Yes. They incarnated something, incarnated into Ramayana, incarnated into Mahabharata, extension of Vedas. You can say all those things, but Vedas are these four Vedas.
Yes.
Clear, right? I cannot go
to
explain this one. Okay. All right, very good. If there is no other questions, anyone else? Priya Mataji, want to add something? Amla Radhika Mataji is there. Arun did not ask any questions, surprisingly. He's a question bank.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Tanavad Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you for the very nice class, Prabhu. I am contemplating on it, Prabhu. If you have any questions, I'll ask in the next class, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any other thing? Bhaskar, Branda, Hari Puja Mataji spoke, I think. Pedanna, double action Pedanna, 2 times. Shubh. Hope you're all okay with the presentation today. If you have any questions, we can always discuss later. You all have a wonderful rest of the day in service of Krishna. I'm happy and excited today because finally I'm getting connected again. Srinivas and Anjali are here from Bentonville. They came last night. They are staying with us this weekend, spending time with us. And there's a Dallas Rath Yatra also. So they have some service to do. So we are all going there also. So it's nice to have someone coming and visiting us like this. It makes us live a little more longer. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.